Distraction is silent sabotage. Most people don't even realize that they're distracted because they've never defined their main goal. You can be busy all day, chasing opportunities, even doing things that look successful, and still miss the real work that you were meant to finish. In this episode, I'm going to show you why distraction is killing your main goal and how to spot it and how to build the focus and structure that you need to actually finish what you have started. Welcome to Notes from the Table. I'm Ilonka Middelberg and I invite you to pull up a chair, take a deep breath and tune into what heaven might be saying about your season. I share iconic insight and strategic perspective as a life and assignment coach because your assignment matters. Whether you're influencing the family mountain, building a business or writing the book that just won't leave you alone, I unpack timely revelations to help you discern the times, stay aligned with your assignment and keep moving forward. So what is distraction? A distraction is anything that takes your attention away from the assignment that has been given to you. You can only recognize distraction when you know your main goal, which is your assignment. Without that clarity, your whole life can be spent distracted. So without the assignment, without knowing your main goal, your whole life can be spent distracted. Think about that. The starting point for you is always vision. Vision is our destination. So many people don't even realize that they live distracted because they don't know their main goal. So they may be busy, you might be busy, you might be productive, even successful in the world's eyes. But if it's not your given assignment, then it is a distraction. And a given assignment is something different than a chosen assignment, something that you choose to do and that you think it's all well and fine and successful. No, it is your assignment, that thing that is inside of you because you are born for such a time as this. That is a given assignment. And if you don't know it, then your entire life can already be a distraction. But once you know your main goal, it becomes the measuring stick. You know what belongs in your lane and what doesn't. So many people don't even realize that they're living distracted because they don't actually know their main goal. They may be busy, they may be productive, even successful in the world's eyes, but it's not your or their true assignment. It's still distraction. So here's the key. Once you know your main goal, which is your assignment, it becomes the measuring stick. You can immediately start to recognize what belongs in your lane and what doesn't. So vision is your destination, but the goal is what makes it practical. And that main goal is what connects what you carry in the unseen into something tangible on earth. And I will get into that a little bit later, what I mean with that. So without your goal, without the vision, you're like a runner who doesn't know where the finish line is. You may be running fast, but you'll never win the race. Now let's take a look at the vision as the foundation. So everything begins with vision. Everything. We serve a God who is visionary, right? And vision is your destination. So vision must be turned into a main goal, which becomes the focus point that connects heaven with earth. Think about this. It's from heaven to earth, right? Matthew 6 verse 10 in the Bible says that your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That's Matthew 6 verse 10. So it's from heaven to earth. When we pray, it's from heaven to earth, right? So God gives us vision because he intends for us his will to manifest his will, right? Again, his will to manifest on earth through us. And when I say manifest, I know that many believers have a difficulty with this word, but manifest, I don't mean the secular meaning of it. I don't mean the mystical manifestation, all of that. I mean the biblical reality of bringing what God has planned in heaven into visible expression on earth. Because vision gives us destination, but it's the vision that comes from God. God has given us a vision, right? And when we see that vision, we know our destination. That's the beginning of our assignment, knowing like, okay, this is that. So without vision, you cannot set a course. And remember, we are runners. We run a race. So, and with vision, you know where you're headed and why. Let's take a look at from vision to goal. So once you see the vision, Try to catch what I'm saying. This is actually very deep. Once you see the vision, then you must set a main goal that reflects it. And then from there, you create smaller goals, yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, even daily, so that you may step by step go toward the main goal, right? Habakkuk 2 verse 2 says, write the vision and make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. So what God wants us to do is to write the vision, and writing the vision to make it plain. And the moment that you put it on paper, what actually happens when you put the vision on paper, what happens in that moment is that you are already manifesting God's ideas from heaven into earth. So this is why I often say that your main goal is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. So once it is written, the focus becomes clear on your goal. And then from there, you can start to run with it. Small steps, stack time, build toward the finish line. Again, we are running a race and we need to get to the finish line. So the vision comes from heaven. It's something that God has placed inside of you. And we need to get, once we write it down on paper, we manifest God's vision, his purposes, his will on paper. And from that, it starts to be that goal. And it's like the vision written down. It's clear, right? Write the vision and make it plain so that he may run who reads it. So suddenly it has manifested his idea, something that he placed inside of you. It's now on paper. This is very deep. And this is what manifestation is, biblical manifestation. So what you need to do once you have that main focus is that there is power. What you have to do and understand is that there is power of focus. There is power in focus, right? Power of focus, routine, transformation. So what I mean with that is that knowing your goal is one thing, but living for it requires transformation. So start to build a routine, start to build habits, learn, unlearn, relearn, and structures around your goal so that focus becomes part of your lifestyle. I say a lot of things, but what you give attention to will grow. Whatever you give attention to, that's what will grow. And this is a kingdom principle. Right? What you give attention to will grow. And you also hear it in the secular world, but this is actually a kingdom principle. So what does that mean? Is that attention is the currency of the kingdom, right? So whatever you give attention to will increase. If you give attention to your distractions, then they grow. If you give attention to your assignment, then your assignment will grow. You see how it starts to work. So many fail not because they don't know their vision, but because they don't structure their daily lives around it. This is something that I see with the wonderful ladies that I coach and mentor. It's all about focus. It's the vision. It's putting words to it, and then to focus, to build a structure on it. It's actually very spiritual what is happening there, and where we need help in, all of us. So because there is power, again, the word is that there is power in focus. Power in focus. And let me take a sip of water. I'm so sorry. But so necessary. So again, what you give attention to, that grows. So focus must become a lifestyle. You need to practice it. And that's why a system, a structure, that you start to build around your goal helps you to create actually a lifestyle of focus, so that it's not a thing anymore, but it is, when something becomes your lifestyle, it's normal. It's the way you breathe, and it shapes your habits, it shapes your schedule, and also your decision making. I want to say two things actually. About distraction, but what I mean with two things is that there is distraction in two forms. You have, of course, the obvious distractions that we, like challenges, oppositions, warfare, slammed doors, scrolling on your phone, maybe your partner, your children, challenges that they are obvious, not always immediately recognizable, but when you think about it and you pause for a moment, those are obvious distractions on, to distract it, other than working on your assignment, on your goals, on your life, the things that are important. Those are obvious distractions, but there are also hidden distractions. Actually, one main hidden distraction, and that's this: living outside your assignment without even realizing it. The biggest hidden distraction in the life of God's people is living outside your assignment without even realizing it. I think you should reflect a moment on that. So again, it's easy to see distraction when, the battle is intense, when warfare rises, when finances are pressured, when doors close. But the greater danger is the hidden distraction, and that is living your whole life busy with what looks good, but is not God's will for you. Think about that. A person can even stand in a pulpit, preach powerful messages, and still live distracted if it was never the assignment that God gave them. So let's take a look at the assignment and sonship and the assignment, right? So God calls us into sonship. He doesn't call us into childishness, but he calls us into sonship. And sonship means maturity. It means responsibility. It means faithful. It means solving. I mentioned faithful, but actually I mean faithful stewardship, right? Faithful stewardship of your assignment. That is sonship. John 17 verse 4 says, I have glorified you on the earth. I have finished the work which you have given me to do. I sense I need to read it again. John 17:4. Jesus is speaking here. He is praying here. And he says, I have glorified you on the earth. I have finished the work which you have given me to do. So God, again, is not looking for us to stay as children. He is raising sons, he is raising daughters into maturity, in sonship. Because in sonship, he entrusts us with responsibility because we have been trained and equipped by his Spirit. And this is why distraction must be resisted. It's something that we need to resist. Sons know their assignment, right? Sons know their assignment and finish it. And that is what Jesus modeled in John chapter 17. He knew the work he was given and he finished it. You can also read the letters of Apostle Paul. He also mentioned that he knew when his finished was done. So how do you know even that you are running a race? How do you know that you are completed it? Is that you need to know your assignment and the main goal. It's very important, especially for the days that we are in. Right? So now let's take a look at the business and the pressure of finances. So building a business requires full focus, especially in the beginning. It's like full focus. I will continue with it, but I just want to say maybe 10 times, like building a business requires full focus. It's not child's play. It's not childish. Even when you just start because of I need to start or whatever, really, it asks full focus, time, maturity, and everything, and then financial pressure can tempt. So when you do the full focus in your business, then financial pressure can tempt you into distraction, especially when savings run low. And what I mean with that is that, you in the beginning when you do business, and I believe even during the time of business, you have ups and downs, right? The normal ups and downs, and then the challenging ups and downs, and the less normal ups and downs. But there will be a moment, we will all go through that there will be a financial pressure. And financial pressure, I'm talking about distractions, can distract you from what you are doing, and then a job can be a blessing or a distraction. It depends on how you position it. So when you, again, first start your business, you may have savings set aside to cover the first few months. And maybe I can do a video on that, how to, especially when you do it for the first time and you build from scratch, how do I prepare myself financially, to start the business. I can do, if I don't forget, I will do a video about that as well. But the point is that it's very good to have some savings aside, and that you can give attention to, with a 9 to 5 or temporarily without a 9 to 5, doesn't matter. But you have to have some savings aside and to start focusing on your business, because it needs a lot of time. And then in the beginning, so you have this amount of money. It doesn't matter how much it is. That's not the point here. But you have saved something for maybe 6 to 8 months to cover your expenses, your full focus, your building systems, your shaping offers. You're putting in the hours. You are doing it. You are the entrepreneur who is doing it. And then the weeks goes by, right? So as the weeks goes by and you start to see that the funds begin to decrease, because the month feels very short. It's always the same, but without consistency in an income, the month feels like, if it's like 2 weeks, right? New week, new month again, already. My bills are around the corner already. I thought we were in the beginning of the month, but things like that. So you start to see that there is a moment that the funds begins to increase, because you are not yet in the consistency of clients, right? So what basically happens is that you start to see it. You see the decrease, 3 months left, 2 months left, 1 month left. And that pressure, that financial pressure can, easily become a negative distraction. It's almost normal, right? When financially pressure, that's something that we really don't like, and that's normal, but as a solution-orientated thinker, which I believe you all are, if you start your business, your assignment, leaders, we are leaders and growing into leadership. So we are solution-orientated thinkers, right? So the next logical steps might be, maybe I should apply for some jobs just in case. And at first it seems harmless. But once you enter that process, it begins to pull on your mind. This is a possibility. So you send out applications, and perhaps the first 6 comes back, with rejections. You didn't want to think about it at all. You were just thinking, okay, let me just be mature in this. I don't have time for a job, but I'm going to apply for a job because, I need a consistent stream of income. You start to think about, okay, you have to look at applications and whatever. And then you do it first letter out. You don't think about it too much because you're focused on your business. But then you have a rejection, or it takes a lot of time before you get a response, things like that. Basically, what I'm saying is that a normal, mature thought about, okay, my finances are always to the bottom. Let me be wise in this, and let me apply while continue to build my business. Let me apply to some jobs. And because that's normal and mature, it can be a thing when you suddenly think like, hey, I didn't hear about I haven't heard back yet from that company. Letter 2 is a rejection, and so on and so forth. And then that's something that starts to, obviously starts to affect your mindset, good or bad. I'm not talking about that it's immediately good or negative, but it is something, how the process starts to work, that something normal begins to, steal your attention, actually. Because now, instead of focusing on building your business, your thoughts are actually now consumed with what's wrong with me. What's wrong with me? Should I, I have six 6 rejections. What's wrong with me? Should I apply to more? Did I make a mistake starting this business? Lord, is this not what you want? Is this a closed door? You start to, this distraction deepens, and not only are finances tight, but your mental and emotional energy is being drained by the job search. And then let's say you land a job, okay? So you land into a job. Again, there's nothing wrong with working besides having a business and to build your business. That's not the point. I'm talking about the processes of how distraction can happen in good things as well. Remember the hidden distractions, right? So nothing wrong with working, but the hidden trap is that the job becomes comfortable. So because it offers a steady paycheck, it's also actually quietly steals hours from you, focus, energy, and it is all a distraction from your true assignment. And what was started as a backup plan slowly grows into the main thing, and before you know it, your business, the very calling you set aside, or not aside, but the very calling that you are to pursue gets pushed aside. And maybe not the first week and the second week, but you're tired of the job, and you can take a day extra off, and you will always start to compromise it with the hours on your business, because now you have a job and you have a manager or whoever who expects certain things from you. So the principle is clear, whether it's the worry of finances, the mental weight, unanswered application, or the comfort of a steady paycheck. Each stage can become a distraction, and every distraction competes with your assignment. Think about that. Write that down. Every distraction competes with your assignment. So unless your business receives the greater share of your time, of your focus, of your creativity, of your energy, your entire mindset, it will never grow into what it's meant to be. This is a warning. At the same time, to myself, it will never grow into what it meant to be. So if your assignment does not receive the greater share of your attention, then something else will take its place. That's why this is hopefully very helpful for you, but also an eye-opener for you, what distraction actually is, and what happens if you don't give your greater share the attention, that something else will take its place, right? So again, a job is not wrong, but it must, and this is just an example. I can also do another example about distraction, but I think this is very close to what happens to the most of us, especially when we are at the beginning of business, that we should leave our job or not yet, or going back to a job temporarily. Again, a job is not wrong, but it must not compromise your main goal. Whatever you do, it cannot compromise your main goal. We are running a race, and we need to get to the finish line. Okay, so strategic part-time jobs can cover costs, and reduce pressure, but they must serve the assignment. And what I mean with that, and exactly that, they must serve the assignment. So if they don't, if you notice that the job is getting in the way of serving your assignment, then it's time to take a step, and it's time to take action and to change that actually. So yes, the solution can be a job, right? If you take a job, let it be because it supports your calling and not because it replaces it, okay? A job can cover costs. Again, it can reduce stress. One of the things is that it can provide networking opportunities, right? But it's never number one. It has to serve your assignment. So how can it serve your assignment? If your costs are covered, it gives you rest. When financially there is no pressure, then when there is financially no pressure, right? Then you are in a place of rest and in a better place to focus on your assignment, to work on your assignment. So keep your eyes on the main goal and treat the job as temporary provision, not the destination, right? And even when you are already in a job and you start with a new business. This is also helping you. Start to change your mindset already when you are in the job. Not that you have to not do your best. You know, when we work in excellence, right? Not in perfectionism, but we work in excellence. So when you have a job, you give your best to that, but you give more to your business. That's actually what I'm trying to say. So distraction often shows up when money starts to run low, right? That's one of the things. And then when job applications don't get answers, or when a steady paycheck feels safer than building your business, distraction. So the way to protect yourself from that is with structure. So make sure to know your main goal, first of all, which is actually your assignment. And when you break your big goal into smaller steps, you do it yearly, you write it down quarterly, or you write it down monthly, weekly, daily, and then you take away the confusion. Again, it's all about vision. If you know the vision and you write it down and make it plain, that's already a focus point. That's already the goal, and it will help you in decision making. It will help you to continue even when times are challenging, even when you need increase in finances or whatever it is. But it will help you to keep going and to push yourself forward. Okay, so structure helps you quickly when something is pulling you off track, because you know when you have a structure like this is that I will continue. It gives you rest, it gives you peace, it gives you like a habit, a routine. So it shows you what deserves a yes and what needs a clear no. So when you know what you're doing, you walk in your lane, it helps you with decision making, indeed saying yes to this, no to that. It's actually very peaceful and restful to come into that. And also when there are setbacks, when there are setbacks or whatever, the habit and routine of a structure helps you to keep going. You need to keep going, right? So let's continue. And that is actually take a look at the principle of time investment. So to qualify for, something that crossed my mind is actually, I live in the Netherlands. And something that I've learned here, which is actually a kingdom principle, something that I want to share with you, is that to qualify for the entrepreneur's deduction in the Netherlands, and that is a tax deduction, I hope I pronounce it well, but to qualify for the entrepreneur's deduction in the Netherlands, you must be officially recognized as an entrepreneur by the tax authority. So it sounds obvious, but of course you need to register at the Chamber of Commerce. That's the first Chamber of Commerce. That's the first step, and they give a sign to the tax authorities, and then you are there. And then for them to mark you as a business, there are some requirements, right? So before they say, "Oh yes, we see them, we mark that business as a true business." There are some requirements, and then of course you have some starters deductions here, and but to receive them, this is it. And I'm going somewhere with this. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere with this. So one of the two, or actually one of the, I'm not sure. Yeah, there are two requirements, but one of the key requirements is logging at least 1,225 working hours per year on your business. Okay, so this means that you need to keep a detailed record, like and I mean like a sheet, right? Like what's the word? Excel. Sorry. You have to keep a detailed record of your daily activities. You have never met someone from the tax authorities. You think, my days, what should I do? I really need to do it? Yes, they ask you, even when I don't see them the full year, don't speak to them, I need to record every day that I work and what I do from this hour to that hour. Was it admin? Was it creating content? Whatever it is, I need to keep a very detailed record of my daily activities. And you can think, mind your own business. It's not, it's like in the beginning I thought, really, why should we do this? But the other key is that if you also have a job alongside your business and you've been an entrepreneur before, but you have restarted within 5 years, then you must spend more hours on your business than on your job in order to be recognized as an entrepreneur and to receive the deduction. So basically, there is a minimum of hours that we have to work on our business over the year. And if we have a job next to our business, then they say you have to spend more hours on your business than on your job in order to be recognized as an entrepreneur. And actually, why I share this is that because without realizing it, this is a kingdom principle. That is what the Lord showed me. It is a kingdom principle because your assignment must receive more time than anything else. So this principle goes beyond Dutch tax law, right? It reflects a kingdom truth, and that is actually amazing. To see what it means is that the Lord says is to see growth, right? To see growth, your business and to see growth in your business, in your personal life, your assignment, you must receive your business must receive focus, time, and attention. That it is. To see growth in your assignment, to see growth in your business, to see growth, right, in your life, your business, your assignment must receive focus, time, and attention. It has to be. So a few hours here and there will never be enough. I really talk to women and then I say, how much time are you going to spend? Oh, I have like 5 hours over there. And then, and then I say per day? No, per week. And I think, my days, how do you think that you can run a business, like start a business and then run a business and then keep it running with a few hours here and there per week? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that because you as a person also have to grow into your business, right? It's an entire transformation. It's an entire process, an entire journey actually. So consistent investment of your energy and your hours is what signals true commitment. So what I mean with this is that when you dedicate more time to your business than to other pursuits, than to other things, even while working a job, you are declaring, this is my assignment, this is my calling, and I choose to give it my 100% priority. Okay? Sorry, I have the microphone here, but I really need to take a sip of water every now and then. So that is that. I hope it makes it clear. Whatever you do, whatever you choose, whether you have a job on the side, whether you need a job on the side, you have to spend more hours on your assignment than on anything else, right? And I will not talk about the job right now anymore. We can do that another time. But this is the kingdom principle. To see growth, your business and assignment must receive focus, time, and attention more than anything else. What you give attention to grows. Keep that in mind. It's a principle. And because it's like a rule here in the Netherlands, it helped me to do it because I need to do it. And sometimes we don't fear the Lord enough and we think, oh, well, he's gracious and faithful and merciful. So he understands why this week I haven't done that much because I was very busy also at work. The Lord understands. Well, again, we don't fear the Lord as much as we do the tax authorities. So for me, it's a blessing that we have to do it here in the Netherlands, so that I can change my habit and thinking. And now I'm used to work more on the business. I don't have a job aside. I'm thinking on having one temporarily. But I'm now prepared, because I'm also teaching myself, I'm now prepared that there could be some distractions that I should avoid. It's like being very well prepared before you make a decision. So success does not come overnight. That's the whole point, right? I've seen interviews, I'm not sure, I forgot the name actually of him, but I've seen interviews on YouTube with this young man. He's early or mid 20, and he interviews, and I think he is in Beverly Hills, LA, in that surroundings, Hollywood, and he just goes with his camera and microphone, and he steps there on the sidewalk, and then he has this interview with people who are very wealthy. So he interviews wealthy entrepreneurs actually, and what I like about that, when I look at it, what I notice is that they all said the same thing, because he asked like 3 questions or so, 3 to 5 questions, and they all say the same thing. And it says that it took years of consistent hard work. It took years of consistent hard work. So they weren't working 6 hours a week. They were working full time and often double time, because what I hear about when he asked the hours, he says, well, I had an agreement with my wife, because we also had children, that I'm going to work on the business, and we came into agreement, but she paid the price for it, because 60 to 8 hours I was on the way building business for years. And that's what I see as a red line in all the effort, especially in the beginning, the years that it took for them to be consistent in hard work, right? So what I mean with it, and many of them were also believers. So, it's not to be a workaholic, but what you give attention to grows, and who much is given, much is asked, right? So we need to come into that place. We cannot think that we can be lenders to nations by spending 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours per week building a business. That's not it, right? So God blesses our diligence, our consistency. So the principle of sowing and reaping applies here too. The more consistent work and the more focus you sow, the greater the harvest. I hope this is helping. So let's end with this. I think it's amazing, and I really love to go. Don't stop the video. I'm going to close this. But before I close this, I also want you to take a look to a short video that I have for you. Have you ever felt a strong call to start something, but you had no idea what to do next? Maybe your friends are clearly moving forward in their assignments, or perhaps you are at a stage in life where others are preparing for retirement, yet here you are just beginning to build your assignment from scratch. If you feel stuck in this transition, it doesn't mean that you're behind, not just yet. You just haven't had the clarity and structure to turn that calling into one clear goal and a plan to walk it out. And that's exactly why I created the Lighthouse Launchpad, a short strategic 30-day program to help you put words to your given goal, create a realistic plan, and to finalize it with me in a one-on-one powerful strategy session. No more procrastinating, no more sitting on a vision you know you're called to build. Let's bring your assignment into alignment in just 30 days. Click the link in my bio or in the description box, and let's launch the plan you need to move forward together. Distraction is not just about losing time. It's about losing alignment. It's about anything that pulls you away from your main goal and the assignment that you are meant to fulfill. So think about that. Take it to heart. Ponder over it. The clearer your vision, the easier it is to recognize distraction. Both the obvious and the hidden distraction that I talked about. So your focus is powerful. What you give your attention to will grow. So protect it. Protect it. Protect what has been given to you. Protect what you give your attention to, because God has called you and me into sonship, into responsibility, into full focus on the work that He has given you. Everything else, no matter how good it looks, is distraction. So keep your eyes on the vision. Break it into clear goals. build a routine, give your time and attention to the assignment, and trust that as you walk faithfully in your lane, that God will provide. If you need help getting clear on your assignment and defining your main goal, then I would love to invite you to the Lighthouse Launchpad. It's a short, focused program designed to help you define one goal, one plan, and it will finish with one session with me, a one-on-one session with me. And it is to put everything in place so that you are ready for the next step, that you know what your assignment is, that you know what the main goal is, and that will be your focus point. I'll put the link in the description. Hope to see you inside the short program. And I just want to thank you for watching today's episode. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next one.